Hello and welcome to Sports News Africa, the home of Africa's sporting conversation. Let's take a look at the headlines. Mixed reaction to Asamoah Gyan's exclusion from BBC African Awards. We meet Seydou Mama, the next star of Benin. And high-powered action from the Burundi rally. Thank you for joining us on Sports News Africa. I'm Mehi Alongi. He is arguably one of the best footballers to come out of Africa in recent years, and only last week he was named the 2014 Asian Football Confederation's Foreign Player of the Year. But Ghana striker and captain Asamoah Gyan did not even make the cut for this year's BBC Africa Player of the Year, an accolade he had won during his time with Sunderland in 2010. It's a decision that has divided opinion in his native Ghana.
Ghana's Black Stars player Asamoah Gyan has been classified by pundits as one of Africa's new age players who has given the game of football on the continent an extra edge. His tactical ball skills on the pitch never go unnoticed, and no wonder he has for quite a number of times been the trending topic on social media. But the irony is that the 28-year-old striker failed to make it to this year's BBC Africa Player of the Year nominees list. The news of his exclusion has been met with mixed feeling in his home country, Ghana.
He's strong-hearted, strong-minded.
Yao Ampofo, a sports journalist in Accra, said Gyan's exclusion is unfair.
You would look at the international calendar. Asamoah Gyan, as a national player for his country, qualification to the 2014 World Cup, he was very consistent. During the World Cup, he scored. In fact, he surpassed Samuel Eto'o's record, and you know, he's now the leading African scorer at the World Cup. After the World Cup, he's been scoring in qualifying matches. So you would ask yourself, are we talking about club football, national? Are we putting all of it together?
Gyan won the prize in 2010 when he played for British club Sunderland Football Club. Ampofo also strongly feels that Gyan's decision to leave Europe and join Al Ain Football Club in the Arab Emirates might have contributed to his exclusion.
In the past, it used to be won a lot by players playing in France, you know, because most Africans were watching the French leagues. That has changed over the years now, and you find that, you know, the English Premiership players on occasion and a couple of times in Spain as well have won it. So it'll be interesting. But I think Gyan also has this issue of the broader audience, the wider market, the bigger platform. That has always been a challenge since, you know, he moved to the Arab land. And I think that is something that he has decided that he wants. And one of the prices he may have to pay is that he may not be exposed to as many people who could potentially vote for him.
Die-hard fans like Owasu Emmanuel also believe Gyan deserves to be on the list of nominees.
To me, I think he deserves to be part, because most recently he has been scoring each goal in every match. So I think he deserves to be part, because his performance is quite good, not bad as well.
However, others like Richard Mensah and Amos Jersey disagree, saying Gyan has not made enough effort to be professionally recognized.
Asamoah Gyan have been Asamoah Gyan more than so many years now. For now, we expect him to be playing some EPL, Spanish La Liga, or this Italian Serie A. This is what we expect. We expect to see from our captain, our Asamoah Gyan. But the father is not in a consistent league, my brother.
Nobody sees Asamoah Gyan as compared to the Arabians. But when you come to Ghana, we know that Asamoah Gyan is Asamoah Gyan. But when you talk of Asamoah Gyan's performance with the World Cup, as a striker scoring only one goal, he should not be included.
Ivory Coast Yaya Toure, who was the 2013 winner, and Javinho, Nigeria's Vincent Enyama, Algeria's Yassin Brahimi, and Gabon's Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang are the leading names on this year's nominee list. The winner will be announced next month in London.
Benin is a footballing nation that has been making headlines for all the wrong reasons of late. In May this year, the Confederation of African Football suspended Benin for 2 years from youth football competitions after the West African nation fielded ineligible players. And last week, the senior side were thrashed 6-1 in a friendly by Morocco. But amidst all the gloom, Benin fans can definitely look forward to the future, as there is a new star in the making.
He may be only 19 years old, but Seydou Mama has the confidence and the talent in football that will put a smile on any football fan. Mama is among the emerging number of talented young footballers in the West African nation of Benin, which has struggled to get footing on the continental scene. He is captain of his side, and he has led them in many recent victories in West Africa. Coming from a humble background on the outskirts, Mama's love of football grew as he watched games as a ball boy for the local side Cifas.
When I started the CIFAS Football Academy, I could play any position, and after some time, step by step, Edme Kojo turned me into a midfielder. I am not a defender, but I still go down to pick up the balls.
Coach Ulrich Alahutad has high hopes the young man will follow in the footsteps of some of the country's notable and could be the next big name in the country's football scene.
His quality in regard to his position on the pitch is that he is aggressive. This is our Gattuso here in Benin. When placed in midfield, he shadows his opponent as expected. Apart from that, as an attacker, he achieves good strikes. When he's fit, he can strike from nearly 30 meters and it goes inside the net.
Coach Bruno Adola, who also oversees Mama's training, is full of praises.
Mama joue bien s'il s'agit
Mama plays well, but when the opposing side starts putting pressure, as a playmaker, he does not strike. He behaves like the others. Now, as a captain, a playmaker, he should be shifting the game, changing his speech and motivating his teammates at any time.
Benin has never qualified for any World Cup, but featured in the African Cup of Nations in 2004, 2008 and 2010.
Welcome back to Sports News Africa. Kampala will host the 2017 IAAF World Cross Country Championships. Meanwhile, the Kenyan capital, Nairobi, will host the World Youth Championships in the same year. Uganda won the right to stage the competition after beating off competition from Manama in Bahrain. We can now speak to Elias Makori about this. Hello, Elias. Elias, what is your reaction to this news?
Well, it's a very good announcement, a very good decision, considering that only in 2007, Mombasa in Kenya hosted the same IAAF World Cross Country Championships, and a second global event coming to Africa so soon, inside 8 years. It's very good news. Kampala is a good city and capable of hosting a good championship.
Okay, Ellis, now how much of a coup is it for Uganda to win the right to host this event?
No, it's a major coup for Kampala and for Uganda because the rival bid was from Manama, that is the capital of Bahrain. And as you know, Bahrain, of course, has more resources than Uganda has, than Kampala has. So it was really a big fight for Kampala, and it was a pleasant surprise. If you ask me, nobody expected Kampala to win this bid against a city like Manama with all the petrodollars, all the infrastructure and the revenue, the financial position compared to Uganda, a small landlocked country in Africa with really limited resources. So it was a major coup for Kampala.
Okay, you make the point there, but does Uganda have the infrastructure to cope with the many hundreds of visitors who are likely to flood in for this event?
Well, that's the biggest question now. They still have a couple of years more, and they can improve on what they have. The good thing is that they recently, last year, they did organize the Africa Cross Country Championships, which was like a test event for the World Cross Country Championships, and they did it very well. Over 20, 30 countries from Africa competing. It was really a good litmus test. Kampala has good facilities, but they really need to increase their bed capacity and have, more high-profile, 3-star, 4-star, 5-star hotels ready to accommodate the teams and the athletes that will be coming. So, yeah, work in progress, and I believe Kampala will pull it off.
Okay, Ellis, now the most high-profile Ugandan athlete is Stephen Kiprotich. Would you say his success on the global stage has helped inspire a new generation of athletes?
Yeah, actually, Stephen Kiprotich has been an inspiration to Ugandan athletics, just as Moses Kipsiro, who's been, giving Kenyans a good run for their money on the track in the 5,000 meters, in the 10,000 meters at the Commonwealth Games, the World Championship and Olympic Games. So, yeah, Stephen winning the world title, and again in Moscow, that was, and again, winning the Olympic title in London in 2012, has inspired a whole lot of young Ugandan athletes to come through. If you recall, in July this year, a Ugandan won a gold medal at the World Junior Championships in Eugene, Oregon. So, yeah, there's a good crop coming up, and having a global event at their backyard, we're definitely going to see more Stephen Kiprotiches coming up.
Okay, now, you hinted at it there, but what is the legacy of holding such a global event?
Well, the biggest legacy, especially for African nations hosting such an event, is the infrastructure. The roads definitely will be upgraded, the hotel facilities, accommodation, the immigration, the movement of people into the country will definitely be scaled up, like we saw in Mombasa in 2007. After the World Championships were held down there, the roads improved, the hotels, the standards came up, and generally the infrastructure improved, and the same will happen to Kampala.
Okay, now let's look at the other event where Kenya has also won the right to stage the 2017 World Youth Cross Country Championships. Now, Ellis, how strong are the Kenyans in this department?
Yeah, Kenya has won rightly, like you say, but it's the IAAF World Youth Championships for 2017. It's an event that Kenya has dominated for many years, and all the top athletes, people like David Rudisha, Mercy Cherono, Olympic champions like Asbel Kiprop, Nancy Lagat, who won the gold medal in the 1,500 meters in Beijing in 2008, have all come through a junior or a youth championship. And for Nairobi to host this event, it will be a great opportunity for, the athletes, homegrown athletes, to have an opportunity of cheering their own in the backyard. It's really exciting news for Kenya.
Okay, thank you very much, Elias. And we're going to move on to cricket now. And South Africa fell to a 73-run defeat in the third one-day international at Canberra's Manuka Oval, despite a century from Hashim Amla. Aaron Finch's century helped Australia reach 329 for 5, and he hit 9 fours and 3 sixes. The Proteas, however, were on course, with AB de Villiers also hitting a 52 from 34 balls. But his demise led to a batting collapse, with their last 5 wickets departing for 30 runs. Australia now lead the 5-match series 2-1. And the serenity of the backroads were disturbed by the roar of high-powered engines competing in the Burundi Rally. This year's event was held in Ngozi, some 100 kilometers from the capital, Bujumbura. The race forms part of Africa's Rally Championships.
The second edition of Ngozi Rally in Burundi took place over the weekend, with 12 cars battling it out on the town's dusty roads. The race attracted curious spectators who watched the cars navigate through the tough terrain in the leafy northern province of the country. And at the end of the adrenaline-charged race, Rudy Canterhead pushed his Mitsubishi Evolution to victory, finishing at 1 hour 46 minutes and 55 seconds, and closely followed by Burundian rally champion Valerie Bukera in his Subaru Impreza N10 at 1 hour 49 minutes and 23 seconds. Bukera said the quality of drivers who participated in the rally was impressive and was surprised to see first-timers performing well too.
Rudy et moi, nous sommes fort expérimentés.
Rudy and myself have quite a lot of experience. Claude Quizera, the guy here, is also an expert. He has driven in many rallies for about 10 years, so there's no secret. But some crews are surprising. For instance, this new crew, which finishes 4th in their first ever rally, this is very impressive.
Sultan Dayashimiye, who was racing for the first time, finished 4th in his Subaru Impreza GC8, surprising everyone. He said the course was quite challenging, but his passion for the sport helped him conquer the race.
That was no easy race. You have to fight. But if you train a lot, you can make it. The more you like driving, the more you are able to rally.
Anselm Bigirimana, president of Burundi Motor Sports Club, said he hopes to get the race to the prominence level of the Gorilla Rally in Rwanda.
Au Rwanda, on pratique du sport automobile au niveau africain.
In Rwanda, they practice motocross at the African level. They have the Gorilla Rally, which is part of the African Championship. Rudy Cottonhead has won the Gorilla Rally several times, and so did Valerie Bukera and Nital Kethia. Thus, believe it or not, Bukera and Kethia are not only champions of Burundi, but also champions of Rwanda.
Champion du Burundi 2014, mais ils sont champions du Rwanda aussi.
Ngozi Province Governor Claude Nahashikiye said the event also aimed at promoting tourism in the region.
This sport brings us a lot of tourists, and when they are back home, they talk about beautiful Burundi, and whenever they go, they become our ambassadors. I think that we, local authorities, as well as government, should support this kind of sport.
The Ngozi Rally is now part of the African Rally Championships, which includes circuits in Kenya, South Africa, Ivory Coast, Tanzania, Rwanda, Zambia, and Madagascar.
Welcome back to Sports News Africa. Controversy over the awarding of the next two World Cups took a fresh twist as football's world governing body FIFA lodged a criminal complaint over possible misconduct by individuals in connection with the bids. The complaint lodged with the Swiss Attorney General is the latest turn in a saga that has rumbled on since the tournaments were controversially awarded to both countries in December 2010. FIFA last week cleared Russia and Qatar of corruption while ruling out a revote for the tournaments despite widespread allegations of wrongdoing. Meanwhile, in France, the president of Marseille Football Club and two former directors were taken in for questioning on Tuesday as part of a probe into transfers. The investigation, which includes claims of extortion, money laundering, and associating with criminals, began in 2011.
It's a black Tuesday for French football with dozens of arrests and raids over possible corruption and match fixing. The main focus is Olympique Marseille, 10 times French champion and currently in the top spot of the country's first division. The club's chairman and several former top managers have been arrested and grilled by police. At the heart of the probe is this player, top striker André-Pierre Gignac, who switched to Marseille from Toulouse 4 years ago. Although details are sparse, sources say investigators believe they can prove that the transfer was accompanied by illegal commissions. France's top football officials were quick to point out what's at stake.
Si ces soupçons sont avérés,
if these suspicions are confirmed, this will be an extremely serious case for French football, for the professional league which organises the championships, and for myself.
Organisatrice du championnat, et pour moi-même. La corruption, ou même le simple
corruption, or even just the suspicion of corruption or match fixing, is a lethal poison for our sport and for sport in general.
Des juges pour notre sport et pour le sport en général.
As if the storm over Marseille wasn't bad enough, France's second division is also being targeted by investigators for alleged match fixing. The prime target is another southern French club, Nîmes, which sources say may have tried to bribe its way out of relegation last season. French football, which has been rocked in recent years by scandals involving money, sex and racism, could have done with a break from controversy. But now it looks like the football scandals are going into extra time.
And that's the end of Sports News Africa for today. Join us again tomorrow when we bring you all the latest from Africa and around the world. Bye for now.